Hey everyone, I am Zerakon here today. Um, I'm here to give my sort of first impressions of Breath of the Wild. Don't worry, there won't be any spoilers involved, so you don't have to worry about that. I mean, I might talk about a couple of details as far as gameplay wise, but other than that, I'm trying not to spoil anything because I really want you to experience the game by yourself because this is a game that you should play without anyone telling you anything about it. You just need to go into the game, don't look at any videos, just get the game, go in there, and enjoy it for yourself because it's that great of an experience. But first off, I just want to say that I saw the Lego Batman movie today, finally, and it is beautiful. If you enjoyed the Lego movie, you're going to love this. If you enjoy Batman, you're going to love this. I mean, it's a perfect blend of the silliness of uh, a family movie, and I guess you could say the Lego movie, but it's also great for Batman fans. I mean, there are so many references and stuff in that movie that you would only notice if you really are a Batman fan. And it's a great way how they blend that in together. Only dislike, I would have to say, is Robin was a bit dorky, even for being, I guess you could say, uh, I mean, I don't necessarily recall Dick Grayson being as dorky as that. I mean, maybe he was something like that in the 60s, but I don't remember him being like that. It's, I mean, maybe he was that way. I mean, he doesn't, it's just that the 60s, Dick Grayson from Batman 66, he never caught me off as being as that dorky. I mean, this was a complete new level of dorkiness to me. I mean, that Robin was just had a face that said, "I want you to hit me." um, that's really helped to the fact that he's being voiced by Michael Cera, whom he's just not a funny guy to me, to be honest. I really don't care for him. But yeah, that's besides the point. But anyway, see the movie. It is awesome. And I'm actually a bit surprised that they actually have another Lego movie in the works. Lego Ninjago. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. I had some of the earlier sets, but I sort of fell out of that. Um, although seems like it's gonna be a good movie, but it must have changed since I last followed that series because there are new things in there that I totally do not even remotely remember. So it must have changed drastically from what I remember it being. But yeah. So anyway, on to this. Also, I want to mention that fact that I didn't even realize this until later. This is not the actual uh, back that the normal retail copy gets. Uh, this is special for only, I guess, the special edition and the Masters edition. So that was pretty cool. So, I mean, kind of wanted to compare it to this, but I'm guessing that this is the same way for this one. As far as retail wise, it's just that, it looks like that, only smaller, and controls are different. But yeah, so I really enjoyed this. I mean, I truly believe that it's lived up to the hype that we've been hearing about. Um, and I'm actually glad that I didn't play this at the Nintendo Switch Tour because it made this experience for me so much better. Um, Going into it with a completely new perspective. I mean, I just, I mean, I haven't even gotten how many hours have I put into this thing? Um, I'm not even sure how many hours I've put in here so far. I mean, I'm just going off of like the autosave, which is also a feature that I really like about this, the fact that it does incorporate autosave, so I don't have to worry about saving it, which has really saved my bacon quite a few times. And that's one of the things I want to mention is the fact that the game isn't so much hard, but it's easy for you to die, if that makes any sense. Um, I mean, you can die easily, you have to use skills, but it's not like the game's trying to be completely difficult. Um, this is what I look like right now. Not sure how well you can see it. Yeah, this thing looks horrible. Um, but basically, I just have some items. I have a fishing spear, harpoon. Well, I probably shouldn't be saying this because of spoilers and stuff, but I mean, as far as where I'm at right now, gameplay, story-wise, I just left a certain village after leaving the Great Plateau. But after doing that, I've really just been exploring Hyrule. I mean, I've just been going around different places, trying to find, different shrines. One of the things I did was, when I was scanning for shrines from the tower initially, I scanned a shrine that was actually outside of the Great Plateau. So I was looking for that, and I didn't even realize that it was beyond what I was actually supposed to, where I was able to go at the time. So I thought that's pretty cool that I can actually see these things beyond um, my limitations. Um, Now, the combat's good. The game looks beautiful, even, I guess you'd say, on the Wii U, which is what I've been playing it on first right now. My only... No, that's not great. It was something I was wondering, which, I mean, I like what they've done as far as with the weapon system, how your weapons can deteriorate and break over time, but I wish there was sort of like a way where you can sort of mend or temper your weapons. Say you got a create some sort of, I got smith, like blacksmith equipment. You had that, and say you had your sword, you can go and temper it and fortify it so it's strong again, and you can reuse it again. Something like that would be nice. It does having the your weapons deteriorate and break. It adds that survival factor. Um, like I mean, everything so far for what I've been doing has been trial and error and just just randomness. I found out different things that I could do that I didn't know I could do. I learned things that, I wouldn't have learned any other way. I just did it, and that's something which is great that the game doesn't hold your hand. You actually go in there and you just do things. The game doesn't tell you how to do this or how to do that. I mean, it might say something in a subtle manner, but overall, you just go out there and you do basically whatever you want to do. And that's just like a great fact. A great feature. Now, the only frame rate issue I've ever had is one time where there was an explosion. I threw one of those barrels, exploding barrels, and the frame rate dropped briefly, but I'm not really concerned about that overall because I really don't know the difference. I can't know the difference between, say, a 30 frame FPS and a 60 FPS, to be honest. So unless it's like a moment of lag, like that moment, I'm not going to know something like that. And overall, brief moments, brief snippets like that don't affect the game for me overall. So that was fine. I was able to let that pass. I mean, I've experienced that with other games, and I've let that pass as well because it doesn't break a game for me if it's just like temporary, something like that. Um, Now, the music is good for what it is. It's perfect ambient music, you know. It's not really there to have you like it's not something which you just remember. It's just there to help set the mood, um, which is okay. But I really would have liked the traditional theme, and that's something that I didn't like about Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess. Is the fact that the overworld theme, which is a staple to The Legend of Zelda, wasn't present in any of them, except maybe in the credits of Twilight Princess, or maybe sort of how it makes you feel like it's going to be there in Ocarina of Time, but it doesn't bring it. It doesn't bring it back. So, and the same thing is with Breath of the Wild. I listened to the soundtrack that was included, and I could not find the main theme. So, if you're looking for that, like I am, you're not gonna find it. Maybe it's in the credits of the game. I don't know. I'm not even half. I'm not even halfway through like beating the game. Um, and the one other actually thing I have against the game is the voice acting. Um, I personally don't believe that we need it in a Zelda game. I was completely fine with the text. Uh, the female voice who wakes you up, I found her to be completely irritating and just so grating that she was a bigger problem than I guess a brief moment of lag. She broke my immersion inside of the game, and that was just that really really grated me. It irritated me. But other than that, I mean, the old man's voice, he was so far from what I've seen as from the voices, he would be the best voice actor so far. He seemed perfect for that role. But personally, like I said, I don't believe that voice acting was needed in this game. I was completely fine with just text. Now, the openness for the world, as far as where you can go, is wonderful. I mean, I tried going to one of the towers near Hyrule Castle, and that thing was guarded by, I want to say, at least uh, three guardians. They were all submerged, buried in the ground, but they, as you're climbing that tower, they will like lock onto you and shoot you, and it's just one hit death, or at least for me, because, like I said, I haven't gotten any really good armor or weapons, stuff like that. So one hit's like instant death for me. But fortunately, I actually came across a shrine which gave me uh, weapons that were actually strong enough to defeat the at least one guardian. I took out one of the guardians and said, "All right, if I can use uh, some skills, I can climb up the tower and not die." Because I personally did not want to have to start over again. Because I'll tell you that before I got the weapons, I died at least five times. So yeah, once I killed that guardian, it took me about roughly 10 to 15 minutes, but I finally got to the top of the tower, and because again, I was being spotted, I had to climb, drop down, get out of sight while climbing that tower. It was frustrating, but it was a good challenge for me. I dare not try going into Hyrule Castle as of yet. I know it's possible to go in there at any time, but I'm just not crazy enough to do something like that. Um, I might try to peek in there once I get a little more weapons, but I'm not going in there to face Calamity Ganon by myself. Um, because I'm not suicidal. Um, that's pretty much all I can say without spoiling anything. Because like I said, I want you to go in there with a fresh perspective. I mean, I told you things which hopefully doesn't come off as being a spoiler per se, but I just, wanted to tell you that the game is as good as everyone's hyping it up to be. Which, I was a bit concerned. That's initially because, games have been hyped up before and they failed to meet expectations, like Star Fox Zero. That was a game which I was, hopeful for, and that game disappointed me. I think there are other games that I've Mighty Number Nine that I mean I didn't put out money for that, but I was looking forward to the game. Then when it came out, it didn't meet expectations. Metroid Other M, I was looking forward to that. We know what was wrong with Metroid Other M, so I was really concerned about Breath of the Wild, but the game, it's near perfect. I mean, it is the best Zelda game I've ever played. Um, I know before I've had this gnawing ache trying to decide if I liked Link to the Past or Twilight Princess more, but this this is my favorite Zelda game, and it is one of the best games that I've ever played. Easily would make me have to revise my top 10 best games. Um, and once I do get a Switch, at first I was a bit upset that I would have to start over for when I played this one, but then I thought about it. It's not that I'm going to be starting over, but more of a new experience because everyone's experience is going to be different playing this game. Everyone's going to do something different that they didn't do the first time uh, around, or something that someone else did. The game is a fresh experience for everyone, which is why I like the game. I mean, it was worth every penny. Um, and because of that, I'm really gnawing. I mean, I'm really debating if I want to get the season pass for the game because I'm interested in seeing what they can do. Um, Now, obviously, something like what they have right now with the chests, and that's not going to entice me at all. The map feature, that isn't going to entice me either. And I think the game has a pretty good difficulty setting as it is. Um, Anything else would be suicidal for me. But yeah, the fall might be worth it. Who knows? But I highly recommend getting it for the Wii U or getting it for the Switch. Uh, yeah. So overall, I love it and I highly recommend it. So until next time, I am Zeracon signing out. Take care.